Folks, hello and welcome to Gamers Health. Dun, 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 dun. I am Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR, and with me, as always, on Saturday night is my lovely wife, Rachel.
Hello.
So, and yes, I still need a haircut, and now I actually
I
really,
do too, but
I really apparently need a haircut now. I get a, I got a reason to get a haircut.
are you going to disclose that reason, or are you going to leave us all in suspense?
Um, a gaming convention has asked me to be a special guest, and I need to send a headshot. So I guess I need to get a haircut.
Woo!
I am very humbled. So other than that, figure let's see. We'll cover the basics. Oh, I can see our cat through the chair on the table behind us.
Oh, are you waiting for your treat, lady?
She's not going to be in the back of your chair. There you go. She'll be
There you go.
she'll be
We'll be
picked
there in a minute.
or an hour.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, like I said, we're both thankful that the medical appointment marathon is behind us, but we still have medical appointments. So this week I had my nephrologist. I
Yes.
still can't get that name right. It's like a nephrologist. It's a kidney doc, and actually things are actually looking good for my kidneys. The Corendia is balancing the numbers. So
Good stuff.
and it's one of those rare doc appointments where you get there early. They take you early, and you see the doctor early. I think I was out before my
Before your scheduled appointment time.
yeah. It was pretty bizarre. I was like, holy
Mhm.
crap. And although he's a nephrologist, he is pretty much an everything specialist, it seems. Because he seems to know a little bit of everything
Yeah.
and can diagnose whatever he wants. I'm very surprised by all that.
Yeah.
I've not posted a Cyberpunk Red Humble Bundle. Oh, okay. All right. I didn't know that. Hold on. I will have. Thank you. I went there. Um, I was at Humble Bundle yesterday.
Is this your humble bundle?
This is my humble. Oh, they got a Cyberpunk Red Humble Bundle. They do. All right.
Is that yours?
Well, I'm going to generate a link right now, and I am going to drop a link into the chat, and then I will get a shortened link ready for later use. But thank you.
Good
Uh,
reminder.
Bangs Naughty Bits. That's one hell of a screen name. So yeah, go figures. Yeah, I was wondering what they were going to replace the Call of Cthulhu bundle with because that one was an amazing value. I grabbed that, and as Rach knows, but others do not. Aren't even may not be watching. I'd like to run like a once a month
Like a couples game
a
of
couples
the
game
Call of Cthulhu.
with couples that we know. Run a Call of Cthulhu loosey goosey campaign, and I think it would work well with the couples. And hey, if characters go insane, it just it makes it hits like the marriage numbers, right?
Mhm.
So hold on a second, pop. No, I'm doing a live stream. I got hold on a second, folks. Hold on.
Here, I'll get up.
Okay, so these are the dangers when you live in a multi generational household. My father was returning stuff to Rach. But whereas my mother would hear us talking and go, "Oh, wait a second, there might be my father," and it has nothing to do with age. It's just my father's personality. He's got to
Well, he
focus.
thinks we're just having and we are having a
We're
conversation.
having a
It's
conversation.
not like it's,
It's not like it's anything like real
right. He doesn't
exceptional.
understand, like, if Rachel's on this side of the room, something's happening,
Right. No, my so I was just like, and if I don't address it, it's gonna be never ending. Tammy, I would love to watch. I'd love to meet Papa Stina.
Oh,
I'm sure they'd love to meet you all too.
yeah.
No, they've heard about all of our friends that we've.
Yeah, I don't know how open he is to appearing on YouTube, but maybe.
Oh no, my mother might at one point if she could
I
get
don't
it.
know.
She'd have to be perfect.
Yeah.
She'd have to be perfect. My father, I don't know, but I
No, he would have to be perfect.
oh yeah.
That's more
All right,
the
true.
point.
Yeah, I mean, 30 years ago when I was working retail, I was told he looked like my older brother.
Mm-hmm.
He probably still looks like my older brother, just that he's he's
Yeah.
older.
Like his hair hasn't grayed,
No, mine has.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's got light hair and
yeah.
yeah.
So, it's me with a thinner frame. How about that? Go
Your hair a
figure.
little darker than he?
We first started going gray.
Yeah.
He's got more red in his hair than I do.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
more.
yeah. I've got more gray than my father. I got the gray from my father. My mother. I mean, I got my gray from my mother. She started going gray at like 18. So I got,
Yeah, my sister too. My dad grayed early.
so
Mm-hmm.
he, but my father's the one that bought me Rogaine. Yeah.
Well, and then I took it because I was like, "Oh shit, this medicine that might do something to my hair." Let me just keep this on. Yeah, let me just keep this for say, in case I need it. And then I lost it. I don't know where the hell it is. And wait, on knocking wood, I haven't lost hair more than the usual shedding.
Which, by the way, just to put things in perspective, we have a Sony TV. We bought it, I think, 3 years ago during over 3 years ago during a Black Friday. Love it. I didn't even realize it's a 4K screen. But it's amazing. And the problem with it is you can't use universal remotes with it. It has a certain remote that you have to use. And every once in a while, I misplace the remote, and it's like. And then I always find that like I'll search like an hour. We searched like a day, couldn't find it. So I'm downloading apps from my phone, one of which kind of works okay, but we ordered a new remote, and it's an actual, not a generic remote. It's the actual remote for the Sony TV, and then I had to figure out how to like get it to sync with the TV because it has to work on like Bluetooth or Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. It's like a combination of the two. I'm not even quite sure. So that was possibly graying event this week.
Oh, I'm saying we just had to tear up everything around that chair.
And we probably still wouldn't find it because it's probably someplace. God knows where the hell I put it. But when we do find it, no, we're looking around
I
right
just
now.
think it just slid deeper
Into the chair. It's
into
somewhere.
the pile.
It's somewhere in the deep recesses of the chair. B&B. That's what I'm gonna have to call you right now. Thanks. Enjoy the few pennies credited to your account that the government doesn't get. Well, yeah, they'll get it next year when I have to pay taxes on it. They don't get it up front. But honestly, like again, if I was really going to properly monetize, what I would do is I would share the Amazon link because everybody shops at Amazon, and I think about it and then I always forget about it. But thank you for using the Humble Bundle link. This way, you're getting something for your support. You're getting a Cyberpunk Red, an amazing game. I think I have the starter rules. So usually I find the starter rules are enough to keep me going. But I'm gonna have to check into that Humble Bundle because that'll be probably another bundle that I'm gonna be putting in my collection. BNB, I bookmarked your drive-through link, so I hit it every time. Thank you,
Thank you.
thank you. Now, I'm not even sure what percentage Humble Bundle gives, but I know with drive-through because I'm I don't know a senior affiliate. I'm one of the earlier
You're one of the
affiliates.
OG affiliates.
I think they're like up to like 6-digit numbers. I've got an early 4-digit number for my affiliate
Oh.
link. And drive through pays 8% on PDFs. I'm not sure what they pay on print because they're not making the same percentage on print as they are on PDF. So, Tammy, Tom, and I have a remote to our TV, and we are so each have a remote to our TV, and we're so territorial about it. And when one is missing, you would think we misplaced a gold brick. Well, this was.
I don't think I really know how to use it.
Reach just has
It's
me.
not like you do it.
So here's the background on us and our TV viewing. I don't know if we've ever discussed this, but 90% of our TV viewing is YouTube. So we have YouTube, I don't know, premium or whatever, the no ads, because 90% of our TV watching on the big screen TV, the 65-inch, is YouTube. And we find great shows, great channels to follow.
Yeah, a lot of documentaries.
So we stay pretty educated.
Yeah.
Commercial TV is essentially the NFL, the football season.
Yeah.
Hi, Sadie. Now she's on my chair.
Oh, good.
So
yeah, make yourself comfy.
We have Amazon Prime. We have Netflix. We have HBO. Paramount. I don't even know why we haven't watched the new episode of Strange Worlds, the Star Trek series. We enjoyed the first one, the first series. Yeah.
Wait, didn't we watch the first and the third?
No, you think of Picard.
Oh, okay.
The one that's kind of supposed to feel a bit like the original series.
Yeah, I think they did it. They tricked me.
They tricked me.
I'm just an insufficient geek.
You're working on your geekiness. So, but that's our TV viewing habits. So usually Rach has me with the remote. If I gave Rach the remote, I'd probably have to give her lessons on it because it's a complicated remote control compared to like
the one that the cable box has.
Yeah, which is pretty much self-evident. So.
Yeah.
But I think the best thing that we ever did was get the YouTube to be commercial free. Just because we watch it that much, and that is, even in the mornings, if we're not having our breakfast, 30 minutes of Cash Jordan, who used to cover New York City real estate, and is now covering New York City migrant crisis, which
he covers like a lot of different aspects of life in New York.
Yeah.
But it's not just like you look at the apartments, which I think it's good. It's kind of neat to see someone's perspective and how they're showing our city.
But his focus has certainly
expanded.
All right. She says expanded. I say change. You say tomato. I say tomato. Tomato, potato. Too late to call the whole thing off. We've been married now for 12 years plus.
Yep.
Holy Christmas. Oh, that's right. Valentine's Day is coming up. I just realized that earlier today when I said, oh my God, we're in February and we have an orthopedist appointment like the day after Valentine's Day. And it's like, oh, shit. It's Valentine's Day. So,
your copay, huh?
Why, thank you. That's what I like in a relationship. Make sure you pay the copay for me. I'm surprised I didn't get. I don't think I got an email from. Maybe it goes into my promotions folder. Steven Singer, jeweler out in Philly.
Oh yeah.
It's Rach has been getting a gold-plated rose from me.
You might be able to see it. Oh yes, on the
Oh, you see
corner
one
of the room, on the top of the crate that organizes things.
above my head. It doesn't show very
Yes.
well in the light, but right
It's
where.
a gradient, sort of a
Yeah.
pink rose with golden edges.
Yeah.
Tips.
So Rach has 13, probably 14 or 15 of them right now. So I
it's
gotta
14.
I gotta find a new color. So
Actually, no, it's more because I've been getting it since before
yeah, you've been
we
getting it
married.
before.
Yeah.
Her first birthday.
15.
Yeah, your first birthday gift was Kindle too. But,
Yeah.
Tammy, well, I know it's all over the news. I'm curious what you thought about this week's footage of the young man who beat up some New York cops.
Oh my God.
It was hard to watch and harder to watch how they left the station.
Yeah. Heartrending.
It was extremely disturbing. And you would really, listen, I worked the South Bronx in the late 90s and early aughts. As a sergeant, I worked in Harlem in the early aughts.
Right, we've seen the underbelly.
I've seen the underbelly, and you know what? And I have had my scuffles. I've had my wrestling people to the ground. I've had all of that shit. And I've never seen the animalistic pack feeding frenzy that you saw on the police officer and the lieutenant in that video. And the fact that I live in a state where you commit those acts, trying to kick somebody in the head as they're on the ground, kicking them in the head as they're on the ground, and not only do you get released without bail the same day, you get to take a bus to California because apparently California is more of a sanctuary than even New York State. At least our governor kind of woke up.
Well, I think we should probably be a little bit more careful at the border. Well, let's not have a bunch of friggin' gangsters come in here.
Well,
and send them back home. They're eating their policies.
Here's the reality of it. Those that are coming over with families are certainly looking for a better life for their families.
I don't have a problem.
I don't know if they're really going for what are they looking for? The amnesty, not amnesty. They're claiming that they're not
asylum.
They're looking for asylum. Yeah. Thank you for fixing my head. But the majority of those coming over are single young men. Okay, they're not. They might be coming over for economic reasons. It doesn't necessarily mean they're coming over
to engage in legitimate work experiences.
These guys
they were in a gang before they even left home.
Yeah,
before they even left Venezuela, I think.
So there's another article that I only skimmed earlier that came across my site that New York City now is being plagued by bands of pickpockets. Now, pickpocketing, if you don't realize this, is less common in the U.S. than it is in certain European cities and certain cities in South America. There, pickpocketing is huge. Well, guess what? They've got the skills. They're coming up north. Coming to a city near you are going to be the professional pickpockets. They're also doing chain snatching, which is not pickpocketing. They're doing phone snatching. So there's a lot of shit, but this is just
my phone stays in my jeans pocket, and I have a long coat that I wear. So there's not usually anything except like mittens in the outer pockets.
So I mean, what blows my mind too is that when they first introduced cashless bail or no bail in New York State, they said it was for misdemeanor crimes and non-violent felonies.
Assault. But they just changed every crime to be a misdemeanor.
Apparently, that's no longer the case because gang assault is a felony. Assaulting a police officer is a felony.
Well, the Manhattan DA totally rewrote all the laws so that,
Yeah.
oh, this is now a misdemeanor. This is now a misdemeanor.
Well,
Everything's a misdemeanor.
I know.
So I don't have to do anything.
I know they were down. I know that the Manhattan DA's office was downgrading a lot of charges to misdemeanor charges, so people
Like
could
they
get
had
rid
this
of
whole thing, this whole big list
Yeah.
of charges that were downgraded.
Yeah.
And
So
it's ridiculous.
And it's not. It's twofold. New York State is cashless bail. I know Illinois went to that too. So, generally speaking, even if you have a recidivist problem, even if you've been arrested that very day for another crime, you get to go. You have to go see a judge and get away. I mean, it blows my mind. It blows my mind. And I'm not saying that the system prior to this couldn't have worked better. There were people going through for misdemeanor crimes that sometimes spent a weekend or longer. Most misdemeanor crimes weren't getting asked for bail anyway, but people with felonies were occasionally
you jumped
getting
the shark when you reclassified it all.
Well, you jumped the shark when you even said, well, you know what? Maybe if you're a recidivist, it changes the formula. Maybe at your third arrest, maybe we started asking for bail, because right now it is just it's revolving turnstile, and there's nothing. Yeah, they're put out on their personal recognizance. Yep. So at least 4 out of the 5 that they initially arrested in this assault apparently took. Well, and I was wondering how they got to California. Even though they get flown to New York, but usually they're getting flown on.
No, it's that special mayoral program. So I guess our mayor can send the buses, but people can't. Texas can't send the buses.
They hopped on a Greyhound because
they were pounding the hound.
They were pounding the hound, or some other long.
That shit's going to take a long time for them to get there.
But they're going to California, and California, because New York State.
Was that just one of them, or
no? 4 of them. 4 out of 5.
Okay.
So, and by the way, that reinforces the whole gang assault, because they're leaving together. They were acting in concert. It wasn't just a random let's just all attack the cops. But California, like New York State, is a sanctuary state where it will not interact with ICE. It won't deport people. It won't give them up to federal law enforcement just based upon their immigration status. But California goes a little bit further. Now they've added pretty much, I think, every illegal, except for actually some single men that are younger than 35, are getting free health care and other stuff from CaliMed. I was just reading an article on that.
Oh, yeah. They get their gold card.
Yeah. So
they can divert money? Xanax and...
Well, but here's
Percocets.
Here's the thing, though. So California is... Our own governor apparently was so upset with this, she wanted these people deported. She was probably going to do something like an executive order saying that, well, you know what, and let's give these guys to ICE. We know where they are. We know, but now they're going to California. Now, you think California is going to give a flying?
No, California doesn't care about anything.
So this is the state of New York, which is a damn effing shame.
When you're in New York.
And actually, I didn't even know about this on the day it happened. We were visiting with my friend John, who's a retired detective of my mother's generation. And we're like, John, how are you? And he's like,
I'm fucking pissed. And he's like,
I was good until 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, he was like, I'd want to kick him in the head, because he fought a lot out there. He's like, nobody did anything. Nobody,
Nobody helped.
Yeah.
But now, and I'm not gonna Sunday morning or Monday morning quarterback any of this. I was not there, and I am not. I am retired now for nearly 8 years, so I am not working in the current environment.
Right.
But I will tell you this: when I came on the job in the late 90s, if me and a fellow officer were getting our asses handed to us, which is what was happening here. You had a gang of people attacking you. You're outnumbered 5 to 1. I think there was over 10 people involved in this total assault. You were at risk, not just your physical safety, but you are at risk of losing your firearm in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
And if you lose your firearm in that situation, it's not just your life and your partner's life; it's the life of innocent civilians, and that are going to. So, I probably at some point in that battle in my time would have been better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6.
Yes.
I can't say that 'cause I'm not working in today's environment.
Mm-hmm.
Today's environment is greatly different, but that lieutenant, at the very least, should have had a taser on him. And cops use tasers much more frequently than they used to. Actually, when I was working, when I came on the job, only supervisors had tasers. Now, regular patrol cops often are trained on tasers. Tasers can be an equalizer, but they've got to be used, and they're damn intimidating. Also, none of these cops had nightsticks. I guess they did away with nightsticks.
Yeah. Oh,
nightsticks are oppressive.
Because it has to be friendly.
Yeah, Tammy, I was worried what they kicked away at one point. I thought it was a gun. I suspect it was probably a radio. I couldn't make it out in the video.
Probably.
But it was probably a radio. It was probably calling for 1013.
Yeah.
In NYPD parlance, and every department is different, which is why after Hurricane Katrina, we changed the way nationwide. We changed the way departments interact, because during large-scale emergencies, 10 codes, which most departments use, are worthless because we all speak our own language.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So they're all different. So 1013 is only hours.
Right. 1013 is the NYPD. There's 1013s and 1085s. 1085 is officer needs assistance. 1085 Fort Worth is you saying, I'm about to get my ass kicked. And when you have a 1013, and when you live with 85, you'll go 26 Adam to Central, 85 Fort Worth at my last location. If you are calling a 1013, all you do, you get the address out.
Yeah.
914, 914. You just scream it. You don't have to say 1013.
They know when you're screaming the address that they better get somebody there.
Been there, done it. It's almost like reliving it. But they know it. Central puts over the emergency sound on the radio, which is a repeated ping of doot, 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 doot. And then they usually demand radio silence because they need to hear that unit that was calling for help. They're going to, a lot of times they can't respond. A lot of times they are
truly down and not conscious or
whatever. Or they're fighting for their life.
Yeah.
You're fighting for your life for these animals. I'm going to call them animals.
Yes.
And it's not because of any background.
It's animal behavior.
It's animalistic behavior. It is a pack mentality. And this is what we are importing into our country with open borders. There's a reason why.
Yeah, because
you have an immigration system.
Because that country fails, they're coming from a failed state, basically. Yep.
Oh, so optional rule: joint responses is still rough. You get new codes, but it takes a moment for everyone to know them. Yeah, we would. I remember when we were sending units down, cops down for Katrina when we were sending them down to Louisiana, and I think Texas. You went to common language back then, so you didn't say. Central, 1030 in progress, robbery in progress. You just want Central robbery in progress or whatever, because you had to speak a common language, and 10 codes are not common. But they're not even common with local police departments. NYPD has its own set. And I'm sure that was very confusing in the days of transit and housing being separate departments.
Oh, when they had their own.
I'm sure they had their own. Certain things like 85s and 13s were probably common, but there was other stuff that, and there were codes that were unique to different departments. Don, they are animals as they act like animals. They are like hyenas. They prey on those they see are vulnerable. Yeah. And again, do you think they would have acted like this in their prior communities against the cops? Probably not, because you do this in South America, you were going to get killed. The cops aren't going to take a beating.
No.
In South America, you've never seen the Brazil videos. Brazil is patrolled by, the police are all pretty much military police, I think.
Okay.
And they shoot to kill first, and then they ask questions. So if you attacked cops like this, there would be multiple bodies on the ground.
I don't know. These are coming from a failed state that probably hasn't paid police in
however
many years.
These cops are getting paid.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not failed states like Haiti.
Oh, okay.
And even if they're coming from Venezuela, Venezuelans aren't running around like pack animals, and like these hyenas. But these are like, the young drug gang.
Yeah.
This is what you're getting. With our current immigration policy, which is essentially open borders, we're not getting your brightest. Okay, we're not getting your educated. We are not getting individuals that are going to benefit American society.
No.
We are getting what other countries that are worse off than us are casting off. All right? We're not getting the biggest and brightest from Venezuela and Mexico and Ecuador. We are getting the ones that, and listen, they want a better life. I respect that. But there's a process. And they're not going, and we're not requiring the process.
Right, we're not holding them to
that. Don, what really bothers them is for them to attack police like that. It says they are especially dangerous and should be, not quite sure. I'm sure it was a typo, but they should be feared. And they should have been held. Yes. Because if you're willing to attack, what would they do to the average civilian?
Yes, exactly. What would they do to me if I was walking?
And you what they thought
that shelter?
You thought you gave a look to them. It's like optional rule: safety officers find a way to get it done one way or another. Oh, definitely. And I was working 9/11. I remember that first night. We had a Chicago PD, their ESU equivalent, responded in unmarked SUVs, black, of course, and came to my post on that first night. And they wanted to know where to report to. And I was like, I'm a lowly cop. I have no fucking clue. I'm not part of the command structure. Mm-hmm. And they explained to me and my other officer, my partner at that point, that they had driven, when the second plane hit, they hit the road.
Aww.
They didn't get authorization until they were halfway through Pennsylvania. That tells you a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So God bless them. Don, no, because where they come from, the cops will kill them. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
The cops and it wouldn't, they wouldn't hesitate because they're not going to prosecute a cop for that in many of these countries.
That's true. That's very true.
If you got killed by the cops, you obviously deserved it.
It's because you were wrong.
Yeah. They are also paid by the gangs, cartels, and other groups.
Yes.
So now, this is one thing I'm going to just talk a little bit out of the boxes. If you watch any videos on YouTube about the immigrants coming to New York City, you see that they all are renting scooters because they are all doing Uber. And a lot of times they are renting identification. They are renting somebody else's account.
Well, they're renting that account.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other person isn't doing Uber. A lot of people never did Uber in their life that are on doing Uber.
But they rent it to like 4 or 5 different people.
Right. So, Now think about it this way: some of these people just want to work, great, but some of them also want to commit crime,
Yeah.
and now you're inviting them to your home.
Right. Some of them have linkages
Yes.
to other types of
Right.
ways of
I
making
mean,
money. You know?
I find it amazing that when I order Uber, nobody ever looks like the picture they show on your phone screen.
Oh, you noticed that? I never could
Yeah,
tell.
nobody looks like the picture. Now, if you get an Uber to drive, yes,
Yeah,
but
you have to.
if you're getting an Uber food delivery,
Mm.
sometimes if you're expecting a female, you get a male. You're expecting an Asian.
I think I just thought, oh, it's because you can't always tell somebody's name as male or female from certain places, you know. But
yeah,
I didn't know you see that.
Yeah. I'm sure we get now are more like refugees than immigrants. They have a whole other set of needs and problems.
Yeah.
And indeed, and they're overwhelming. That's we watch a lot of videos. Peter Santinello is awesome. If you want coverage that is pretty much neutral, and especially when he does things on the border, when he goes with sheriffs from those local counties, because sheriffs are the only law enforcement that will probably ever talk to the media because they're elected, they aren't appointed. A lot of it is eye-opening. And again, I have a lot of sympathy for these refugees or immigrants, but most of them are economic refugees. All right, and that's
right. They're not.
They're not looking for asylum. They're claiming asylum.
Like they're not. They're not appropriate for asylum.
Right.
Yeah.
So they should be going through a regular immigration process, and they aren't. And if you are going through the regular immigration process, you're the one getting fucked because
because like I've worked with asylees before. You know that they had certain psychosocial factors that made it unsafe for them to be able to stay in their home country. Like, for a lot of them, they were gay. That was the crux of one job that I had. That
which could
and so
like
your country, they were gay, and in some countries, still to this day, people hunt gay people and try to murder them. So.
That could definitely be somebody looking
asylum
for
that way.
I could see that.
Yes,
but economic hardship is not it.
Right. That's not the grounds for it.
Yeah, Don. It is. Again, I worked the South Bronx. I worked a largely overwhelmingly Hispanic neighborhood, which had a lot of illegal immigrants at the time. And they were not they were not disrespectful.
No.
Even the gang members were actually relatively respectful to cops in and out of uniform because they didn't want to get eyes on them more than they needed. You stopped in Nieta for selling drugs. If he had drugs on him, he was likely going to go peacefully because he also knew the system would only keep him for a few days before kicking him out. If he went to jail, he'd be in a local system and he'd know people there anyway. He was going to be fine and safe, but he'd have 3 teardrops. So I know that he had 3 bodies on him, but he was the most respectful individual you're going to deal with because there were rules in place, societal rules in place. And what we have coming over now, there are no rules. And in places like New York State,
and then Illinois, also the whole very fact that we have such an influx,
it's overwhelming.
And the reason why it happened, like that's because the rules were kind of cut.
Yep.
The rules were allowed to lapse and be lax, and so they think everything else over here is lax.
Tom, in Thailand, if a cop shoots you, you're automatically guilty. Oh. When my dad was there, 2 prostitutes were shot outside the Air Force Base's gate and their bodies dumped in a ditch, and no one batted an eye. Uh, oh, Eric, you missed my joke there. Sewer. I tried a little lower Lanasian to lighten things up. I'm sorry.
We're
Yeah,
sorry to make you have to explain yourself.
yeah. I apologize. Uh, yeah, the respect for life
Aw.
today maybe different today than 68, 69 when my dad was there. Maybe, but well, yeah, these countries don't change
Well, yeah,
overnight.
and also like I remember having Tom reminds me of a nurse that we had working in the detox. She was from Philippines, and she said, "Oh, I really enjoy. I really want to work with people that are struggling with addictions. In my country, they just shoot them in the street, you know."
Mm,
So I was like,
yeah.
"Oh, okay, so
Oh, that
that's
could be an
motivation. We
issue.
like this. You're in, girl."
Tammy, New York Post just now quoted a veteran cop. We're a catch and release city. This is a complete joke. We put bad people behind bars to keep the community safe, and they just keep on letting them out.
Hmm.
Yeah. And um, honestly, our mayor knows he's a retired captain. Um, he's certainly a political animal,
Yeah.
and he is seeing the writing on the wall. Governor Hochul, who is career politician,
Yeah.
she is apparently now seeing the writing on the wall. The question is going to be, are our assembly people and state senators going to do it, because they are overwhelmingly Democrat. It's New York State. There's no secret to that.
Hmm.
And they feel they have to make certain decisions in order to keep their votes in the urban areas.
Oh yeah, and our whole like city council.
You know, but our city council isn't part of this. This is all. This is
Our
it's
city
that
council doesn't
have any
impact
doesn't have
any of that.
any of the
Oh.
bail reform. No, city council has passed a bill to require cops, if they even say hello to you on the street, to document the encounter. So
Yeah,
now,
I think we need a new
they-
city
so
council.
well, the mayor is trying to override it, and they're going to vote to override his veto. Um, so now you're going to have cops even doing
Bunch
even
of
less time
kooks.
on the street, because they're going to be documenting more and more.
Mm.
And the question is why? Like,
I think it's just gonna make people say, said hello and goodbye to lady passing by.
yeah,
That's all
well,
I'm gonna write
I
because I'm
mean,
not gonna,
the
stick my
the pro-
neck
the
out.
problem with stop question frisk in New York City wasn't the actual stop question frisk. It was that it was being used as a productivity tool, so therefore it got
Right.
abused.
Was that
And
more so under Bloomberg?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, it was.
Because it sounds like a lot of business
Yes,
um, managerial styles
yep,
got
involved in it.
inflicted into the police department, and
Yep.
then, but that wasn't the way to manage public safety.
No,
Yeah.
and I mean, I had to instruct my officers when I was a sergeant, and that's when it started getting really pumped up. That, like, listen, you can only stop, question, and frisk somebody for a felony or a penal law misdemeanor. If this is coming in on a car stop and the only violations are a reckless driving, there's no stop, question, frisk as part of this. You will frisk if you're making an arrest for your safety. You'll do a search for your safety, but it's not a stop, question, frisk. And people were just doing it for the numbers. And the problem is that it was also feeding a database, and this database was then putting people in, and you had to say what crime they were suspected of that validated this, and it usually was CPW. So now somebody who never did a crime
That's
is
possession of a weapon.
right,
Okay.
criminal possession of a weapon. Somebody who never did a crime is now in this UF 250 database. He's been stopped, say, 7 times in the last 2 years. Well, there's 7 times that he's been stopped for a weapon, even though no weapon was found. And now the detectives are in the squad are using this to find suspects. Well, but he's always been suspected of having a weapon. Well, did they never find a weapon on him? It was totally fucked up. I don't disagree with the Fed stepping in, but they went and they took a useful tool and they essentially eliminated it.
Mm.
And now what's going to happen, I think, is that this needing to document every time you interact with a civilian is going to start the whole process over again, and the city council doesn't even realize it. So just damned if you do, damned if you don't. Wow, you all talk about derailing. we are almost at 8:50, and we haven't even hit the topic. I don't know, man. We're gonna have to do we might have to revisit this topic again. We're going to talk about how to motivate yourself during the winter time to get out and do stuff or do stuff in the house.
Yeah, we're working on that ourselves. I mean,
yes. And Tammy, there's no apologies necessary. Sorry, but we thought of you when I saw that happen. Yeah, I thought of me too, and again, I had no problem when I was working putting hands on people if hands had to be put on. But also, my mindset was always, I have hands on you because you're going into custody. I'm not here to do a wrestling match on the floor. I'm not a pro wrestler. I'm not supervised snooker. I'm not going to jump from the side there. I want to end this fight as quickly as possible by getting you in handcuffs and ending the potential for either of us or anybody to be harmed. And when I was a cop, my unit, which was an active unit, we were making arrests every day. It's what we did, and it was the South Bronx. It's not hard to find. They'd actually make fun of me. It's like, how do you get these people in cuffs so fast, even when you're fighting them? I go, because I don't want to fight them. I don't mind fighting. It wasn't that I feared fighting, but why fight a moment longer than you have to? Because once the cuffs are on, the game is over. These cops were not able to get the cuffs on, and once it goes to the ground, once you are with somebody who is not compliant, it becomes a lot like high school wrestling, if you remember to know, or maybe wrestling in college. I took some judo, so the groundwork for me was better than groundwork for other people.
Right.
I knew the leverage, I knew the holds. I can remember some of the pain compliance spots. I was not going to be the one that was going to be, setting off, boxing somebody.
No.
That was not going to be me. But on the ground, I would be pretty good. But also on the ground is where you're going to rip up your uniform, break your glasses. Parts of your gun belt go flying off as they impact the ground. So when I saw them, and went to the ground, and it was two cops on the ground, and then I saw these other animals coming in, and but I did laugh when the guy tried to do the jump kick.
Yeah, and he fell on his ass.
And it's like, dude, I know you've seen it on TV, but that's not quite.
You thought that was gonna go so good, didn't you? Don't
you feel stupid now? So, Don, your videos are impacting people, is why. Well, we hope they do. All right. I mean, there's a last week's video got a lot of views for a live stream in general,
especially for this live stream.
Right. This live stream has its own crowd, its own audience. But I was very glad to see the response that we had to last week's live, and I'm happy to see the response we're getting to even this week's live. We speak about this, and I mentioned this. I look forward to my week starts and ends on Saturday because we look forward to it.
Yeah, and it's good that Tammy brought up something about where we live, because I think we would have gone through this and not really.
I wouldn't have
touched on these things. Like we talk about them on our own, but yeah, it is impactful when you think about like health is a huge concern, and when you don't feel safe sometimes where you live at, that is an indicator of how your health is going to stay.
Right.
It's an added stressor.
Right. So I mean,
Yeah.
here I'll kind of bring this full circle. So, Rach, you occasionally have doctor's appointments in Manhattan.
Yes.
What is the and that's before seeing this latest shit and reading some later articles on all the pickpocketing going on, but and purse snatching and chain snatching and phone snatching.
Mhm.
Phone snatching is a whole big thing here in New York City right now. Um, what is the let's say it's an unwritten rule because we don't have written rules, but what is the policy in this household about your appointments in Manhattan?
Well, since cancer, it's been that he has to drive me there. Well, since probably a little bit before
Yes,
cancer.
before
Yeah,
when
like a
it's
year before cancer,
when
he's
this
been like,
immigration stuff started really picking up and we started hearing about
yeah,
more events on the
yeah. So
trains.
he's like, okay, you have this appointment in there. Yeah, I'm gonna bring you, and I'll tell you where I'm parked because it's too much to come back and pick me up. Um,
Yeah.
if he's able to find a spot because the traffic is so dense. Um, and then yeah, and then the other one is like, like
What?
the low vision, which I could never find out here.
Right. And
But I can't replace the GYN either because there's not services that are good out here either.
right. Well,
So it's just those two now, but I don't always have to go.
well
It's like
there's no GYN
yearly.
at the Rego facility.
I
Oh,
don't think so.
that's only cancer. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to see if they have any.
Yeah, I don't want to go to Gyn over there because that means something bad's happening.
No. Okay. Tammy, New York City's like it's the heart of the United States in some ways, so we all care about what goes on there.
Yeah.
It's often looked at as by those who don't live in the country as a target or a goal. Well, it's a
Yeah.
bellwether.
Yeah.
And it kind of tells you where the rest of this country is going to go at some point. And right now, I don't. I'm not happy at the current direction.
Hopefully, what we go through is a wake up call for the rest of the
Right.
country, so that it can be turned back, or
Yeah.
or addressed, maybe not turned back, but that our politicians can meet our concerns and feelings of unsafety.
So, what we haven't even spoken about when it comes to New York City is we're going to have congestion pricing coming up in a couple of months.
Ugh.
They've already installed the readers, and anything south of 59th Street is going to be tolled. I believe for cars, it's going to be $15 a day. This is in addition to paying a toll on a bridge if you're coming in from like
so for those
Midtown
appointments,
Tunnel.
I have to take the train now. But you want to take the train with me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll carry
armed.
I'll be armed, and that's the thing. I have the privilege.
See, I'm lucky. Not everybody else has this escort.
Yeah, I have the
armed.
privilege that I can be armed. Now, going back to New York City, New York State Supreme Court ruling that New York State was unfairly preventing people from getting carry permits. So New York State had to become a will issue state, but they changed a lot. And one of the things they restricted is you cannot carry in the New York City transit system, whether it's a subway or a bus, with one exception: retired police officers. We can carry in these locations. So a lot of these restrictions they put into place don't carry over to retired police, which is great. Does it mean that people aren't going to be carrying in the subways? No, criminals don't give a flying fuck what you tell them they can and cannot do. That's why they are criminals. So I always used to smile when I would go to like the post office and it would say, "This is a gun-free zone." I'd be like, "Okay, that's good to know."
Well, you usually send me in. So.
Yeah, but
it's not an issue.
Yeah, but even some banks now more because now you have theoretically more people carrying firearms in New York City, but or New York State in general, but we haven't seen a rise in gun violence. And I'll tell you this much: my experience, uh, in my time as a cop on the streets, which was from hi girl, move your was from hi baby. Oh, thank you so much. I took away the keyboard, and she gets upset when I take away the keyboard. Which was from 97 to
Go wait for
2004.
mommy.
Oh, now she's going to step on the keyboard. Oh, no. Um, I was involved in a number of gun arrests. So my unit was, what was a sergeant, my squad was, and we only had one licensed firearm owner. And that was somebody buying marijuana on their way home from work. I'm not in your way. I'm trying to get out of your way. You know?
What is that? Your way of saying, excuse me.
Oh, and now she's going to lie on top of the mouse. So I can't even end this live stream if I wanted to. Okay, Sadie. Come on.
Oh, you get to hear the...
Oh, you think my cat vocalizes. You are on top of my mouse. Go ahead. 1, 2, 3.
Jump. Jump.
Oh, I want to move stuff away from you. Here.
Daddy's just trying to help you.
See, look at mommy. Look at mommy.
Stop. You go down and go somewhere else. I don't like that.
No, why? I was trying to move it out of her way, and she's like, and she wasn't no nails. It was like, I was like, okay, enough. Yeah. Yes.
Our cat from hell. Huh.
She is a whack job at times. But yes, we are going to be charged congestion pricing to use our own streets. And if I was still working on Hudson Street, like I did for my last, 12 years.
And the police would have to pay too.
Yeah. Police, fire, all these jobs that you have to respond in a timely fashion. You're going to be charged for the privilege of going to work. But here's the issue: it's going to push traffic out of Midtown, and it's going to push parking issues to outer neighborhoods that are near train stations,
like us.
So initially, when they had talked about this, they were going to issue parking permits by neighborhood. Ain't happening. So they're going to push pollution though into the South Bronx, north of Manhattan.
I mean, the South Bronx is already so very polluted, and
they are putting $25 million into asthma prevention and treatment. The MTA, our buses and trains are already figuring they're going to have to spend $25 million of this money.
That they're going to have to invest in clinics and stuff in the community?
Yeah. Oh. Or whatever, in the South Bronx, because they're expecting that to go up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the worst environmental, how do they call it? Like an environmental impact zone, yeah.
So, yeah, Don, she's actually a very sweet cat, but she is a little temperamental, and she's possessive. So if she's on my desk, I can't remove. If I remove the keyboard, it's a problem because she wants to hear the. She wants to hear it. She wants to hear that repeated key bullshit, and I don't want to see my screen go off or, tabs open and close. She thinks it's fucking hilarious. So I see, oh, you coming to the desk? I remove the keyboard, and then she whacks me. Doesn't scratch me, but she hits me like, you son of a bitch. How'd you take it away? So this time she was lying on top of my mouse, and I have my my fidget magnets over here, and I figured that was blocking the edge of the desk, so she couldn't jump off. Let me remove it. No, I'm taking stuff away from her. That's her possession, even though it's in her way, and therefore I got whacked. Not like a Tony Soprano getting whacked, but I got whacked anyway. So A best way to avoid doing things in the winter is to let your friends distract you. Because now you're gonna do now you're gonna
You have a lot
I
to say
didn't
over
do
there.
anything.
It's some pretty big opinions, miss.
She's waiting to jump.
It's okay. There you go.
There
Good
you go.
girl.
Holy
Go wait for
Christmas.
me.
She's like, don't touch me. But she's not really upset. She was just frustrated.
Yes, because I'm afraid to jump. I'm afraid to miss,
Yeah. Dom, you have 3 cats and only one is vocal, and that is when the food bowl is empty. All right, so this one, if you let the food bowl empty overnight, she's on this side of the floor with a gate keeping her from the hallway that separates from the bedroom because my parents have 2 cats that come up and harass her. So what she does, and she's got a long body, is she stretches up to the top of the gate and kind of like holds on to the top of the gate, and then she bungees. She just jumps, dun, 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 and you hear it against the gate. So what happens is our
Or
dog,
she'll like ching, 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 ching,
yeah,
ching on the gate.
but usually you hear the bump, 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 and our dog gets all upset and starts barking.
Mm-hmm.
And what it is she wants to get food, and 9 times out of 10, it's an empty food bowl. Who needs a guard dog when you have a Sadie? Yeah, I don't know.
Our dachshund's up there making plenty of noise, I'm sure.
Yeah. Our dachshund pretends that she's a threat.
Yeah.
She's not a threat. Oh, you love me? Oh, okay.
I love you too. Love me more.
Yeah. Sadie lets me pick her up. She'll vocalize. Oh, by the way, she loves and hates my son, our son. And when Chris gives her like the squeeze treats, she sounds like an engine the whole time. It's like
she sounds like a little motor.
And she will
that licks.
And she will woof. She has a woof, by the way.
Yeah.
And she will woof at the other cats if they are like, I don't know, trying to intimidate her through the gate. And you'll hear woof. I'm like, did we get a dog? Another dog? Our dog doesn't woof. And you hear woof. And I realize, oh my God, it's the cat. Our cat has a woof. So she could be a guard cat, I guess.
Yeah.
Listen, it's after 9:00. We're not getting to the topic. Right now, no, we're not getting to the topic. We'll have to punt. Motivating yourself when the cold saps your drive to another day, and when the cold saps our drive. I am going to try to motivate myself after this live to get on the treadmill and get my exercise ring closed on my Apple Watch.
I have 41 minutes.
She's got 41. I think I got 4. I do. I got 4 minutes. I got 4 minutes. 4 minutes of
my
exercise.
rings are all closed.
Crock.
No, it's true. It's all true.
Tammy, we weren't motivated to talk about getting motivated. You know what? I could see that being an issue.
It was hard this week.
Yes, it was. And you know what?
When it's cold, like when we get the cold here or the damp here, it's not an easy thing to.
It wasn't
get
constant.
out there.
It wasn't.
I was proud of myself because I got out there to a yoga class in the community on Wednesday. Right. So I was like, all right, this is good.
But it wasn't.
So it was hard to get out of the bed. I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't go. I have sore shoulders. I had sore shoulders because they were tight and I needed yoga.
But this past week was a miserable week. It was cold and it was damp. And every day you went outside, it was damp. Yeah, Grandma, legally carrying people are not doing mayhem. They don't want to lose their privilege to carry.
Yeah.
And that's what, people forget.
Yeah.
Okay. Legally owned firearms, all used by people who legally can carry them, are a rarity.
Yes.
Not
And
saying
people
it,
don't understand that.
right. Not saying it doesn't happen,
Mm-hmm.
but like I said, my time on an active patrol, especially as a cop, um, one person, and they said they were a licensed security guard that could carry to and from their home to work, but it did not include uh, an exception to buy marijuana while making that trip, and they stopped to buy marijuana. So
Oh, and they couldn't. Oh.
yeah, then they were no. So at that point,
What was that? Armed security or something?
yeah, they were armed security, and at that point,
Oh.
they were no longer carrying under the authority of their license.
Okay.
So now they were in criminal possession of their weapon.
Oh, that bad?
Oh yeah, that's that bad.
A 1 to 3. Well, what
Well,
used to be a 1 to 3.
I'm sure it was, but I'm sure he lost his carry license.
Mm.
You know, Grandma, I live in California, which has made everywhere legal to carry. It's insane.
Oh.
And in court, they just had one case that said the post office cannot be going after folks with CCW.
Oh, wow.
And the thing is, the post office, that's a federal law. So that's an interesting one, especially when you figure the post office is a place where you may be going with a lot of money. You may be going to do payroll, grabbing money orders. You may have a large amount of cash on you. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Supreme Court rules on further cases when it comes to firearms. I don't. I'm in that position where I don't have an issue requiring people who aren't trained in firearms to be trained in a firearm before they get a license. I don't believe that if you're a retired cop, you should have to go through a 20-hour course in order to renew your carry permit. I went through range training twice a year for 20 years. I think I got the superior training, but be that as it may, when I renew, I'm going to have to do that. But I don't even have a problem with requiring licensed gun owners to have a basic insurance policy of I don't know, even $1 a day, $365 a year for funding whatever. I don't have a problem with that. I do have an issue where the restrictions basically mean that you can carry, and we say you can carry, but you can't leave your house because then all of a sudden you're in violation.
Right. Because isn't it 2 different license years, one for a home and one for being able to go outside?
Right, there are. It's concealed carry and it's a permit license, and I believe permit licensing is even used for retail establishments. So that permit is for home or business, but you can't to carry from your home to the range or anywhere else. Your firearm has to be unloaded, put into a locked case, stored in your trunk. It's a whole. I've never had to go through that, so. When the tolls are part of the asking 15-minute city thing to keep everyone in the ghettos. Save the planet by regulating through fees the right way of travel. Well, they did that in the UK, and they felt it was successful in the UK. So.
But if you ask the citizens, it wasn't.
If you ask the citizens, it wasn't. That is true.
In the UK, yeah.
But that doesn't make a difference. They want these 15-minute cities, and the right to travel. We're not talking about sovereign citizens, but the right to travel is a human right, and the right to we have an economy that's built on the theoretical right to travel, right, with planes, trains, and automobiles.
All the cars, yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see where it goes. It really will be. Well, folks, if I go on much longer, I'm going to be finding excuses not to go on the treadmill. Because I'll be going, Rachel, it's too late. We need to move right to our snacks.
Aww.
We got to move right to our snacks. All right, folks. We'll get to, sorry. And it's part of the splash for this page. Maybe I'll have to change it I'll have to retitle this episode. Not motivating oneself, not talking about motivating oneself or something like that. But
Yeah.
I do love spending my time with each and every one of you.
Thank you for joining us.
I think I'm gonna throw this in here right now because one of the listeners mentioned this, and I do appreciate them using the link. This link is for the Cyber Red bundle, Cyberpunk. I had the original Cyberpunk 2020, which is like how the world was supposed to be in 2020. It didn't happen that way, did it? But it was a really, really good game back then. So I don't have the Cyberpunk Red stuff, so I will be grabbing that. Oh, the garden, yes, some of our lettuce now is aging out, so I went to go to harvest it, and the plants are like yay big, and then they break off right at the base. But I have other lettuce that's sprouting that should be ready to start swapping in, so we're not going to be out of lettuce. We'll be good. We'll be taken care. We had salad for dinner.
Yes,
we had salad for dinner. It was spot on, divine. So eating healthy.
Yep.
That we're still doing. It's just motivating the exercise. All right, folks. On that note, be safe, be well. God bless. Roll those dice, roll them well. I will catch you all tomorrow. Rach will catch you next week.
Take care.
Next live stream is Wednesday. Good night.